All right, welcome back to my record room. It is Thursday, and this will be Records in My Collection number 3. And I have a whole stack of records I want to show you. I wanted to do early heavy metal for American bands, but you know, at random, I just picked these. I'm going to get started. There's about 22 records. And I'm going to start with a band out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, made their way to Chicago, and that would be Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions, and It's All Right. And I'm just going to show you the covers. We're going to get through this. And from Hibbing, Minnesota, made his way to the Village, Bob Dylan, Highway 61, revisited, Like a Rolling Stone, Ballad of a Thin Man. You know, wonderful, wonderful record. It takes a lot to laugh. It takes a train to cry. Desolation Row, Highway 61, Los Angeles, California, Buffalo Springfield, Steve Stills, Dewey Martin, Bruce Palmer, Neil Young, Richie Furay, the Buffalo Springfield. And there they are. All right. And from Texas, she made her way to San Francisco and hung out with Big Brother and the Holding Company and formed this band. This is Cheap Thrills with the great Robert Crumb artwork on the cover. Of course, he illustrated for Zap Comics. And there she is, Janice. And look at that ball and chain. And also, big band at Winterland and at the Fillmore, that would be Moby Grape. Skip Spence, Bob Mosley, Don Stevenson, and what's he doing there? And this is the original jacket, the original pressing. Maybe a second press on that. And originally from Lancaster, California, that would be Frank Zappa and Hot Rats. Pretty good American artist. And that's on pink vinyl. Peaches and Regalia. About my, what a wonderful Zappa album. Los Angeles, California. Jim Morrison, Ray, Robbie, John, The Doors, Morrison Hotel, Roadhouse Blues, and here we have Barney's Beanery. And in 1973, this guy right here, Bruce, was almost as big as David Bowie, at least in the United States. Huge. This is a huge record. There's the E Street Band. My favorite Bruce Springsteen record. And I got to represent with some Marvin Gaye. Let's Get It On. What a great American artist. And originally from Arizona, that would be Alice Cooper with Killer. Be My Lover, Under My Wheels, Killer. I'm speechless. There's the band. And I got to show some rock, and that would be Montrose. Ronnie Montrose with the killer Sammy Hagar vocals on this one. Rock Candy, 17. About my favorite Hagar vocals of all on this record. There's the band. And into some blues, we got the real blues, John Lee Hooker. He's doing Dimples and Boom Boom on this record. Boom, 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 boom. And there's the songs. And Mr. Buddy Guy, so glad he's still with us, the great Buddy Guy. And originally from Downey, California, that would be the Blasters, Phil and Dave Alvin. You have Samson and Delilah on here, Trouble Bound, great record. Had this on CD. This is sealed. Love the Blasters. The epitome of American rockabilly, rock and roll, country rock, straight up American band. For real. The songs. And also from Los Angeles, that would be X, John Doe and Company. And their cover of Soul Kitchen is so killer. And of course, Los Angeles. And Boston, Mass, the Pixies. Pretty good American band, I'd say. Kim Deal, Joey, great band. And another pretty good American band, yeah, that'd be the Ramones, Rocket to Russia. And Sheena is a punk rocker. You've got Cretin Hop, I Don't Care, We're a Happy Family, Teenage Lobotomy, Surfin' Bird. And the Hype. Joey, Johnny Ramone, Dee Dee Ramone, Tommy Ramone, the Ramones. And yes, I Want to Be Your Dog, 1969, the Stooges. I'm speechless. And there's the Hype. And No Fun. And Mike Ness and Company, So Far Away, Social Distortion. Awesome. Ball and Chain, She's a Knockout, Drug Train, Ring of Fire, Sick Boys. It's the Story of My Life. There's the songs. And Athens, Georgia, guys, REM, Document. And this one goes out to the one I love, to the one I left behind. And from Minnesota, we have the Mats, Replacements, Paul Westerberg, Chris Mars, one of my favorite bands. Great record. Alex Chilton's on here. Nevermind, Shooting Dirty Pool, Skyway, Can Hardly Wait, IOU, I Don't Know. Killer record. Love the Mats. Last one, guys. Now, there was a musical hurricane going around. One fella from a certain town in Washington, that would be Aberdeen, and that was Kurt Cobain and Nirvana, Dave Grohl, Chris, and I don't even think he knew the power he was going to have, his songwriting abilities, the effect he had on music. Everything that preceded this, this only added to that, and so much great music to come from here, from over the pond, throughout the world. Thanks, guys. Had fun showing some American records. We'll see you again. Thanks for watching.